Imagine this. You've planned that dream international trip, you've checked all the boxes, and the airline website, well, it gleefully declares visa-free.
That feeling.
Yeah, you feel that rush of excitement, right? Picturing yourself stepping off the plane, ready for adventure.
Yeah.
What if, despite being eligible for that visa-free entry, you're actually denied access?
Yeah, right at the border.
Right at the border, sent straight back home. It sounds like, well, a traveler's absolute worst nightmare, doesn't it?
It really does.
Okay, let's unpack this, because it's precisely what's been happening to some Indian nationals traveling to Malaysia recently.
Mhm.
Despite Malaysia's seemingly straightforward visa-free policy, there have been very real instances of travelers being turned away right there at the airport, leaving them bewildered and, pretty frustrated.
Understandably so.
So our mission today is to cut through that confusion. We want to clarify the nuances of this policy, understand the precise critical reasons behind these denials, and most importantly, equip you, the listener, with the essential steps to ensure a smooth, worry-free travel experience. This deep dive is all about helping you understand the full picture, the requirements, based on the information we've gathered.
And what's fascinating here, I think, is that this isn't just about a specific incident in Malaysia. It's a critical, universal reminder in international travel.
Right.
Immigration authorities in any country always have the final say, regardless of what a visa policy might suggest on paper.
That's such a key point.
Understanding this fundamental distinction is absolutely crucial for any traveler venturing beyond their own borders. It's the golden rule, really.
It is, and that fundamental principle is so easy to forget when you're caught up in the excitement of travel planning, isn't it? So, let's dive right into the unexpected reality that some travelers faced at Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA, recently. We're talking about a very specific targeted enforcement operation.
Yeah, by Malaysian immigration authorities.
Exactly. They launched a 7-hour screening exercise at Terminal 1, focusing intensely on flights they had identified as high risk.
High risk, okay.
Yeah. And during this concentrated period, they examined over 400 arriving passengers. Quite an operation.
And it's important to understand, these types of operations aren't arbitrary or, random. They are a standard, albeit sometimes intense, part of robust border control. They're aimed at preventing various forms of misuse. Authorities use intelligence to identify potential risks, and then they conduct these targeted screenings. It's about maintaining the integrity and security of their national borders.
Protecting the system.
Exactly, protecting the system from exploitation.
It's still astonishing, though, isn't it? To think of a major international airport becoming the site of such a, focused operation.
It is intense, yeah.
And the numbers from this particular exercise are quite telling. Out of those 400-plus passengers examined, a total of 99 individuals were ultimately refused entry.
Wow, 99.
Yeah, and of those 99, 10 were Indian nationals. It's also noteworthy that all 10 were male travelers.
Interesting detail.
The vast majority, 80 individuals, were from Bangladesh, with another 9 from Pakistan. It really shows a kind of concentrative effort on certain flight origins.
And this connects, as you said, to a broader ongoing effort. These aren't just isolated incidents that pop up out of nowhere.
Right.
They reflect continuous operations by the Malaysian Border Control and Protection Agency, or AKPS as they're known. AKPS is continually engaged in proactive measures like this. It underscores their persistent commitment to maintaining border integrity and ensuring that entry regulations are strictly adhered to.
By everyone.
By everyone who seeks to enter the country, yeah.
So that brings us to the burning question everyone's asking. If these individuals had visa-free status, why on earth were they turned away? It seems utterly counterintuitive.
It does, absolutely. Especially when you're told you don't need a visa.
Exactly.
But AKPS has actually been remarkably clear about the specific reasons for denial in these cases. The individuals who were deported failed to satisfy fundamental immigration criteria.
Okay.
And these are criteria that apply whether you have a visa or visa-free status or anything else.
So it's not just about the visa exemption.
Not at all. For instance, many showed a lack of credible justification for their visit.
Meaning?
Meaning the purpose of their trip wasn't clear, or it wasn't convincing to the immigration officers, or maybe it didn't quite align with what they declared initially.
Oh.
Imagine being asked, "Why are you here?" and you sort of stammer or give a really vague answer. Authorities need a clear, believable reason, like, tourism, staying at this specific hotel, or visiting family. Here's their contact info.
Right, so it's not just about having a reason, but that reason being legitimate and provable. What else tripped them up?
Precisely. There was also the issue of suspicious or incomplete travel history or documentation.
What does that cover?
Well, that could mean anything from having previously overstayed a visa somewhere else to sort of odd gaps in their travel records that just raise red flags for the officers.
Okay, makes sense.
And crucially, many lack sufficient proof of funds for their stay.
The money question.
Yes. And it's not about flashing a huge wad of cash, but showing you're financially self-sufficient, that you won't become an unexpected burden on the system. Authorities want to see evidence, like bank statements or maybe credit card limits, showing you can cover your expenses for the entire duration of your trip.
The whole time you plan to be there.
Exactly. Another major factor was not possessing confirmed return tickets.
Ah, that's a big one.
It really is. It's a key indicator of your intent to actually return to your home country.
And finally,
many didn't have valid accommodation plans. So no confirmed hotel bookings, or maybe not a verifiable address of where they'd be staying, just vague plans.
And it's important to stress here, these individuals weren't just sort of summarily turned away at the first hurdle.
No, not at all.
They underwent strict legal protocols, right? Including thorough interviews and background checks before they were ultimately deported back to where they came from. It's a serious process.
Absolutely. A very serious process with significant consequences for the traveler involved. AKPS explicitly stated that their overarching goal with these strict checks is to prevent the misuse of the visa-free social visit pass system.
Okay.
This includes combating potential issues like human trafficking or immigration fraud. So these measures, these checks, they're in place for a very serious and legitimate why.
Not just bureaucratic hurdles.
Not just to be difficult, no. They're about national security and protecting the integrity of their borders and society.
Which brings us neatly to the core of it all. Understanding Malaysia's visa-free policy itself, but maybe more importantly, the crucial fine print that comes with it.
Yes, the details matter immensely.
So the policy for Indian and Chinese nationals was initially introduced back on December 1st, 2023. It allowed stays of up to 30 days. And here's where it gets really interesting. This program has actually been extended. It's now valid until December 31st, 2026.
That's right. It's a significant extension.
So it's not just a short-term trial. It feels like more of a commitment on their part.
Yes, but. And this is the crucial distinction that travelers absolutely must grasp. Visa exemption alone does not guarantee entry.
Say that again? That's critical.
Visa exemption alone does not guarantee entry. Think of it like this. It's a necessary condition, perhaps, but it's not sufficient.
Okay.
It gets you to the border, but then you still have to meet all the standard entry requirements, the gatekeeper requirements, if you will.
So it gets your foot in the door, maybe, but you still have to pass the interview at the door.
That's a powerful way to put it, yes.
Yeah.
It's less about having a visa document and more about proving your genuine intent and preparedness to the authorities right there and then.
Okay. So even with that valuable visa-free status, what are the additional mandatory requirements that travelers must meet? Because this seems to be where people often get tripped up.
This is truly the key information. First, you absolutely need a passport valid for at least 6 months from your intended date of entry. That's a basic, but sometimes overlooked detail.
6 months validity. Got it.
Secondly, you must hold confirmed return tickets. This proves you intend to leave Malaysia within the allowed time frame.
Makes sense. Proof of onward travel.
Thirdly, you have to show proof of sufficient funds for the entire duration of your stay. Again, this could be recent bank statements, maybe credit card limits, something tangible.
Okay, financial proof.
Fourth, valid accommodation details are essential. So confirmed hotel bookings, or if you're staying with family or friends, a verifiable address, and maybe even contact details. No vague answers here.
Right, solid plans.
And on top of all that, and this is a digital step, you must submit a Malaysia Digital Arrival Card, the MDAC.
MDAC.
Yes. And you have to do this online within 3 days before your arrival, not weeks before, not at the airport, within that 3-day window.
3 days before you fly, and that's mandatory.
Absolutely mandatory. It's not optional. It's a required digital declaration for entry now.
So let me just emphasize this for anyone listening.
Mm.
Failing any one of these seemingly straightforward requirements
Any single one.
can, and it sounds like often does, result in immediate denial of entry. Even if you are technically eligible under the visa-free terms, it boils down to preparedness and compliance.
Exactly.
We've all probably rushed through online forms before a trip, haven't we? But it sounds like for Malaysia, cutting corners on that MDIC or maybe not having the bank statement ready, that could be a huge mistake.
It truly could be. It's all about demonstrating that you are a genuine visitor, someone who understands and respects Malaysia's regulations. The MDIC, for instance, it allows authorities to kind of pre-screen travelers and anticipate who is arriving. It's a vital piece of their border management puzzle now.
It really is. Now, let's maybe zoom out for a moment and connect this policy and the strict enforcement to Malaysia's broader strategic goals. Because since the visa exemption began in late 2023, we've seen Indian tourist arrivals to Malaysia absolutely skyrocket.
The numbers are impressive.
They really are. Between January and November 2024, over 1 million Indian visitors were reported. That's a huge jump, something like 47% increase compared to pre-pandemic arrivals back in 2019.
And that phenomenal increase is exactly what Malaysia wants, strategically speaking.
Yeah.
This visa-free policy is a key part of their wider tourism and economic strategy.
Right.
They have some really ambitious targets, especially with the Visit Malaysia Year 2026 campaign coming up, plus their upcoming 2025 ASEAN chairmanship role.
Big plans?
Very big. They aim to attract something like 35.6 million visitors and generate RM 147.1 billion, that's Malaysian ringgit, in tourism revenue during that period. So while they are clearly eager to welcome more visitors and boost their economy,
They also need to manage the flow.
precisely, they need to manage that influx effectively and ensure national security isn't compromised in the process. It's always a delicate balance for any country.
Which brings us right back to practical, actionable advice for you, our listener, if you're a prospective traveler planning that exciting trip to Malaysia. What are the absolute key actions you must take to avoid any of those unwelcome surprises at the airport?
Okay, let's summarize the critical steps. First and foremost, you must apply for and submit the Malaysia Digital Arrival Card, the MDAC. Remember, within 3 days before travel, and this is vital. Ensure you do this only via the official Malaysian government portals. Be wary of third-party sites that might pop up in a quick search. They might not be legitimate or could charge unnecessary fees.
Stick to the official channels. Good tip.
Second, meticulously ensure all your documentation is in order. We're talking valid return tickets, confirmed accommodation bookings, and crucially, sufficient bank funds that you can clearly prove if asked. Have copies ready, maybe digitally and physically.
Be overprepared, almost.
It's better to be overprepared than underprepared in this situation. Thirdly, be prepared for the possibility of interviews or needing to show additional documentation upon arrival. This isn't unusual. It's standard procedure for immigration worldwide. Your calm, clear answers will be key.
Stay calm. Have your papers ready.
Exactly. And reiterate this mantra to yourself. Visa-free status alone does not guarantee entry. It's about being fully prepared and compliant with all the rules.
And look, it's not just us emphasizing this. The Indian High Commission in Malaysia itself has also issued advisories.
They have.
They're cautioning Indian nationals specifically about the risk of being issued a not-to-land stamp, an NTL, which is a formal refusal of entry, or even facing deportation if these immigration requirements aren't fully met upon arrival.
So the official advice is clear too.
Crystal clear. Careful compliance with all entry rules is absolutely essential for a smooth journey.
Couldn't agree more.
So, what does this all mean for you as a traveler? Let's try and distill it. The core idea here is that while Malaysia generously offers visa-free travel for Indian nationals, which is a fantastic convenience, let's be clear, this convenience comes with strict, non-negotiable entry requirements.
They're not suggestions.
Exactly. You, as the traveler, must thoroughly understand and diligently prepare for these specific conditions. Do your homework. Check the official sources. This is how you avoid the significant disappointment, the cost, the inconvenience of being denied entry. It's really about being informed and prepared, not just assuming everything will be fine because it says visa-free.
Well said. And perhaps this raises a bigger, more thought-provoking question for all of us to consider as we wrap up. As global travel continues to rebound and hopefully increase, driven by, economic incentives for tourism, how might countries increasingly balance that desire for tourism growth with the absolute imperative of national security and immigration integrity? Could we actually see more stringent checks become the norm globally, even alongside seemingly relaxed visa policies like visa exemptions.
That's interesting. So easier access on paper, but maybe tougher scrutiny at the actual gate.
It's possible. It's a tension, a balancing act that's only likely to grow in the coming years, I think. Something to keep an eye on.
Definitely something to ponder as you plan your next journey, wherever it may be. Right, that brings us to the end of this deep dive. All the best, and we will meet again with another important subject in the next meeting.